Luc Duval, Vice Prime Minister, Minister of Finance and Economic Development, Her Excellency Dr. Nokwe, High Commissioner, Republic of South Africa, who's sitting here, dear guests. I'm very happy to welcome you to this edition of ABACS Forum, where our friends from Fruit and Veg City, and you know probably the brand Food Lovers Market, where our spouses spend a lot of money quite regularly, so they're sitting here. So our friends, in fact, will address you this afternoon, followed by an address by Her Excellency Dr. Nokwe. But first of all, let me present you ABACS very rapidly for those of you who don't know so much what we do. ABACS is essentially a management company in Mauritius, with offices in 6 other countries. We have 180 employees and assets under administration of $14 billion US. Our clients' assets, not our own assets. Right? We offer corporate services, financial services, business services to multinationals and private equity funds, doing cross-border investments and trade. In Mauritius, ABACS also offers services, in addition to global business companies, also to domestic companies. So these companies doing business solely in Mauritius. And in addition to the traditional services that a management company provides, which is essentially business structuring, COSEC, accounting, taxation, fund administration, directorship, and so on, we have broadened our offering over the years, and mainly to cater for the needs of businesses which are investing and doing trade in Africa, which is quite different from those that do business in Asia. And since we've started to focus more on Africa, we've realized that, in fact, there is plenty of opportunity for our clients to take advantage of the palette of services that Mauritius can offer through its diversified economy. In fact, what we do is we encourage our clients to do business from here, from Mauritius, rather than through Mauritius. The ABACS offering has therefore been adapted to also include technology services, for example, hosting of servers, application development of websites, also outsourcing, payroll outsourcing, outsourcing of finance, debtors, supply chain management, and most recently corporate finance advisory, where we in fact do the matching and encourage our clients who've got interesting projects in Africa to find the right partners from whom they can raise finance in Mauritius, and also encourage them to do listings in the Mauritius Stock Exchange and do mergers and acquisitions from here. This model follows, in fact, our belief that the global business sector, which used to be called the offshore sector, the global business sector should be integrated with the domestic economy, so that we can leverage the wide range of services available in Mauritius. Mauritius offers, as you know, ICT, BPO, and we can encourage our clients to use the free port, to buy a villa in the IRS or RES schemes, take advantage of private wealth management, travel here more frequently, and having a positive impact on our hospitality industry. And actually partner with Mauritius businessmen to do business here and to do business of Africa. And this is the example that we have today with Fruit and Veg City, and this is what they're going to showcase to us this afternoon. Fruit and Veg City have invested in Mauritius, where they have 3 stores, which I think most of us know: Bagatelle, La Croix-Verte in Grand Bay, and Rivière Noire. And they have a business partner, namely Surat and Company Limited, which itself is a big success story in Mauritius. And they're using Mauritius as the place from which they're expanding into Africa. So they're not only doing business here, but they're using the platform here to do business over Africa. And this is a clear example of value added in Mauritius, because they have created employment here, they've got stores here, they are sourcing fresh vegetables and other products from Mauritius, they're doing business with a local partner, they are using the services of service providers, such as banks, such as lawyers, such as auditors, such as ABACS. We're getting some fees from them, thank you very much. And at the same time, I think not least of all, they have raised the standard of what is the retail food industry in Mauritius. I think for all of us, we're quite happy and proud to have Food Lovers Market as a brand in our shopping malls for the quality of services and of products that they have. I'd like to thank you for that. And also value added for Africa, for the continent, where they have and they are continuing to open stores over the continent. And also value added for South Africa, and I think that's very important to note, that there is the value which is added for South Africa. In the end, it's a South African brand which is expanding and being more known over and establishing itself over the continent. So thank you very much for your attention. I will now hand over to Mike Copping, co-founder of Fruit and Veg City, and he will explain to you how he's made his business such a successful story in South Africa, in Mauritius, and in Africa. To you, Mike.
Good evening. Good evening. I'd like to first say thanks to ABAX for giving us the opportunity to tell you the Fruit and Veg City Food Lovers Market story. I'm going to spend the next 10-15 minutes just giving you a quick history of the group and how we grew from where we were till now. And then France is going to take over and just tell you where we're going into Africa and what the developments are in the future of Africa. So this story starts 20 years ago, where my brother Brian and I decided to open our first store, being this store here, Fruit and Veg City in Access Park, March 1993. Little 700 square meter store. We were originally wholesalers before that, and we were supplying a big chain called the OK Bazaars at the time. They weren't doing a particularly great job. In fact, them, Pick n Pay, Shoprite, were not really doing a great job in fruit and veg or in the fresh industry. We realized there was an opportunity, there was a niche in the market. They were building massive distribution centers, adding cost to the product, and we thought, look, if we could get from there to the market and get the product or to the farmer, to get the product from the farmer to the shelf quicker, cheaper, and fresher, there was certainly an opportunity. So we opened the store exactly 20 years ago in March this year. It was a huge success. At that time, there was no vision to have 20 or 30 or 40 stores. We thought, let's open the one. It grew pretty well in the first year. We opened the second and the third. And within the first 3 years, we'd opened 6 or 7 stores in the Cape Town area. Obviously from there we said, where do we go from here? And we went up the road. We decided to open a store in Port Elizabeth. And the idea came along, should we try and franchise this group? It had never been done before, and there were challenges. We weren't sure whether this model would work as a franchise group. So we opened our first store then in Port Elizabeth, in Warmer, small store again, another success. We moved further up. We went and opened a store in East London. That was a great store. Went up to Durban and opened a further store. So we opened one in each town going forward, and eventually ended up in Pretoria. Pretoria, we met a partner, Castaldi family, who were also suppliers to the OK Group. So we said to them, look, let's grow Pretoria and Joburg together, and we took a 50-50 share, which still exists today in that area there. So for 10 years, we grew this brand called Fruit and Veg City, and we grew to a stage of about 60 or 70 stores. And then in about 2005, 2006, there was this huge world economic boom. And Fruit and Veg didn't have the appeal, looking for cheap prices. It wasn't always first price. We thought, look, if we're going to survive, let's look, is there another opportunity? Can we go a little further with this brand? So we decided to travel around the world, my brother, and we put together a team, about 7 of us, went to Australia, United States, UK, and we looked at all the other concepts around the world. And that's where we saw what today is the Food Lovers Market. Came back, and in 2006, we opened our first Food Lovers Market. It was a wonderful store, 3,000 square meters, totally fresh. We weren't at that stage in any dry goods product. The chain stores were great in the dry goods. We stayed in the fresh industry. And our first store then was Hillfox, and then our second store was Takai, which I'm going to come through to now. And we realized there were some key marketing principles going forward in this. And the 4 principles was really quality, freshness, price and service, and we stuck to that and thought if we could do those 4 well and better than the chain stores, we could have a great brand. So I've got a little movie of the second store.
The opening of the Takai store in December 2011 announced the arrival of a new level of sophistication for the Food Lovers Market concept. With its emphasis on developing innovative new offerings and providing a unique shopping experience, Food Lovers Market Takai represents the way forward for the Fruit and Veg City Group as a whole. The Takai store contains many subtle touches to create an old-time market feel, while still maintaining a refined and sophisticated look. This includes the use of chalkboards that have been inscribed by a professional signwriter, as well as the utilization of wood and other natural-looking materials for the decor. Each department has also been individually crafted to create a theatre effect around it. What's more, we've decided to go green in the design of the store, with the glass windows on the custom-designed pitched roof providing loads of natural light, thus lowering electricity usage. As you enter, you are greeted with an extensive fresh produce section, highlighting the fact that freshness remains the core focus of Food Lovers Market's activities. Next to the fruit and vegetable aisles, you'll find a widely expanded grocery department, truly making it a one-stop shop for all your daily household requirements. The grocery section also stocks our in-house Freshers and Food Lovers signature brands, both of which have become firm favorites with customers. The butchery is immense and is filled with a seemingly endless variety of meat. One of the innovations introduced at Takai's Butchery is the Chef's Table. Here, customers can choose from a variety of beef, chicken or pork products that have been prepped by our in-house chefs, allowing them to cook gourmet meals at home. With the design of the butchery department, we've gone back to yesteryear, bringing in traditional elements to recreate that friendly neighborhood butcher feel of old, but combining it with a few modern touches. The seafood department has introduced a similar concept to the Chef's Table, so seafood lovers too can dine in style, but it also contains the usual fare of salmon, hake, calamari and more, for those just looking to procure some good old-fashioned fresh seafood.
So that store, there's a whole lot more to the store, and you've already seen Bagatelle and those stores, so you know what it's all about. So we rolled on and we opened another 50 of these stores, and in 2011 we were approached by a group called Chevron, which owns the Caltex petrol stations, and they were looking for a partner in the convenience side of the petrol station. In other words, those small stores with the petrol. And they were looking for someone who could come and own these and run these stores. And that's where a concept called Fresh Stop was born. And Fresh Stop really started in 2011. We opened our first 4 stores with Chevron. It was a huge success, the first store. We opened these 4 stores in 5 weeks. At that stage, the other petrol stations, BP had just done a deal with Pick n Pay, and they'd opened 2 stores. Engine had done a deal with Woolworths, and they'd opened about 5 stores. And we started rolling out, and we rolled out 1 store a week for a period of 2 years. We now have 132 of these stores in 2.5 years. That's what they require.
The young and dynamic Fresh Stop brand has taken the world by storm. No longer in its infancy, Fresh Stop has grown to be one of South Africa's leading forecourt convenience concepts. After only 1 year and more than 30 stores, it's safe to say that Fresh Stop at Caltex has been a resounding success, while the feedback from the public has also been overwhelmingly positive. Fresh Stop at Caltex is filled with a wide range of departments to satisfy almost any needs our customers might have. Fresh produce islands, stocked by Fruit and Veg City's national distribution network, provide the freshest fruit and vegetables, and also create an enticing visual effect that makes shoppers' experience in the store more enjoyable. At the meat and deli section, customers can stock up on some succulent chops or delicious boerewors for Saturday afternoon's braai. The stores also offer other accessories, such as briquettes and firelighters, to make sure that Fresh Stop is a one-stop destination for all your braai needs. The grocery section is filled with an assortment of household essentials, which means that customers don't have to go anywhere else for their weekly grocery shopping. From snacks such as crispy chips, chocolates and healthy nibbles, to more practical items like your daily essentials, you'll find it all in our grocery aisles. For those on the run who need a quick snack any time of day, the Pit Stop Cafe offers an extensive takeaway menu, including vetkoek, grilled chicken, burgers, pizzas, toasted sandwiches, and the now infamous breakfast bun, which, contrary to its name, is served any time of day. For the more health-conscious consumer, we also offer good-for-you smoothies, salads, and fruit salads. Coffee is a growing business in South Africa, and as such, Fresh Stop has partnered up with the best brands in the business, namely Seattle Coffee and Lavazza, to make sure that our customers get only the best coffee, from skinny lattes, cappuccinos, and espressos to a classic cup of steaming filter coffee.
So the Caltex operation is going pretty well. We're still opening one a week. We have the opportunity in South Africa alone to open 300 of these stores. There's obviously a huge opportunity in Mauritius to open these stores, and we're getting into that now, and obviously going into Africa with these stores as well. I've got some facts about Fruit and Veg City food lovers, and there it is there. We're in 8 countries at the moment, 116 Fruit and Veg cities. We now have 132 fresh stops. Those are some of the numbers. We sell 5 million cartons a year. We export 6 million pockets of potatoes we sell within South Africa. 8,000 tons of carrots. Big number there is 55 million customers per year going through our stores. We employ 9,000 people now, and our group sales is 5.4 billion turnover. Okay. All right, so there's a few trends of the future which I thought I'll just run through you, tell you where we're going with it. There's a fresh food revolution underfoot. Really, this is really the farmers, okay? People, Fruit and Veg is finally getting the attention it deserves in the fruit and veg, in supermarkets. You'll see now more and more getting into walking into Fruit and Veg in the stores. And research has shown that the housewife really wants to go buy their groceries where they can get fruit and veg as well. And that's really the trend where it's going, okay? So you'll see the look is really back to the farm, having a look at the fresh vegetables. This is the range that's available. So our policy is really, if it grows, we'll buy it or we'll sell it. And if it's not growing in certain countries, we'll find a way to grow it there, insisting farmers to grow. Okay, so there's been a research done last year of where fruit and veg is in the business. Customers want to know, they want more fruit and veg in their diets. They don't know how, they don't have the time. So information is important. And value-added departments is important. Grab-and-go items is important. I've got a couple of pictures. There's a grab-and-go. That's what our new fresh stops look like. It's all cut fruit, so you can just pick up fruit. You don't have to go through the hassle of cutting and cleaning it. This has become bigger and bigger. I showed you the slide earlier of the carrots. A lot of customers want it ready cut, ready peeled like that daily. Grab it, take it home and cook it. Grab-and-go's, it's outgrowing all that fresh vegetables as long as it's done on-site fresh every day. Fresh cut fruit is becoming bigger and bigger. Okay, what drives our business still? Value is still key. People still want good prices, family value, combo deals. Combo deals where you have 3 items or 4 items for a price, and bulk displays is still the drivers in our business. Okay, so we get on to the exciting part. It's actually 4 stores. We count Reunion as part of it because it's owned by the same group. So we run Reunion store from here. So there's 4 food lovers markets. And if you haven't seen them, this is by far our best store. Trades really well. We're very happy with it, a great site. Then we opened Grand Bay. Struggling a little bit. I think it's taking its time to find its feet. It's a new centre. New centres normally take 2 years to bed down. A lot of work to be done, but we're very happy. It's a world-class store if you haven't seen it. Beautiful sushi belt. It's a great store. Okay, so then we've also got a dairy farm we started a few years ago. I've got Keith here. Keith's going to give you a little quick 2 minutes about our dairy farm and what we grow there and how that's going. Keith, come up there, and I've got 4 photos for you. I'll just click and you can talk. Okay.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen, Honourable Vice President and Minister of Finance. This is the farm at Laval. We started it 4.5 years ago. We came across, we built a very modest high-tech dairy. All our cows are electronic tags, etc. And we started with 250, we're currently sitting with about 450 cows. We're averaging about 17 litres at the moment per cow per day. It's been an extremely steep learning curve for all concerned, from growing pasture to the availability of medicine to, you name it, I've had problems with it. It just hasn't been easy. And the longer I've been doing it and the more involved I've got, the more people I've got to know. Small farmers especially have come to me and asked for advice. And I'm in a very fortunate position to have helped them to a certain degree and learned their problems. We've achieved so much, and yet we still battle very much every day. If it wasn't for the SIRAC group, I think we would have closed a long time ago. We still battle daily. We still got to put capital in to make the whole dairy work. But we are very close and at a point where it will become profitable very shortly.
One more vote.
Yeah, that's just, it's a very simple dairy and it's easy to replicate throughout the island. The model is based on a pasture-based system, so it's sustainable for Mauritius. It's extremely important to the SIRAC group that we keep it like that. To carry on importing foods into Mauritius all the time is not sustainable by any manner, means, or form. The cost of grain will always increase and the demand for food will increase. We battled with local grasses because there was no information on local grasses because you don't grow grass in Mauritius. So we've done a lot of research on that, and we've now got to a stage where we've got pastures that are averaging 20-22% protein, and our cows are able to graze at least for half of a 24-hour period. Within the next year we should be up to a full 24-hour a day. And we have got some good ideas and good proposals that will hopefully go to government shortly for their review. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. It's quite a challenge with fresh milk, and I'm glad we've now got fresh milk. So we have a few other projects going on at the moment. We're looking at building 4 new hothouses in the Cape area to grow products like strawberries, cucumbers, tomatoes, lettuce. This is the plan of what it's going to look like. It's going to be run by, or helped run by a French group, and you'll soon see those products within our stores. On the same piece of land, there's an opportunity to put up another food lovers market, which is that over there. The hothouses are coming on this piece of land here, so we'll have our 5th food lovers market in the area. Okay. All right, so on to Africa. Yeah, we've got some numbers up there. 6 out of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world are in Africa. There's 1 billion people and growing. They're crying out for fresh. There's no fresh in those countries. We've got stores opening now in France. I'll tell you about Angola, where we're shipping potatoes. We're running trucks of potatoes from Cape Town to Luanda. It takes 11 days by truck. So there's opportunities in Africa immense. And there's a huge drive by many international retailers to get into that market. I don't think they'll be able to do fresh as well as we will. But it's a huge opportunity. Francie? You want to just get on? Yeah.
Okay, I think I must just start off by saying to you that Africa is the most exciting place in the world to be at the moment. And if we're not here and we're not doing our thing here, then we're missing out big time. It's happening. I mean, where in the world do you want to find a place where the middle class is growing at 35% year on year? Now, we might say that comes from a low base, but those are impressive figures. So it's the place to be, it's the place where we want to be, and it's the place to do business. Those are the countries we're operating in currently, and I think why our stores are doing so well in Africa is because it's a market. And as Africans, we love shopping in markets. That's how we do our shopping. So we've just taken that market that was open and hot and unrefrigerated, and we've made it beautiful. We've kept the prices the same, we've kept the quality, but we've refrigerated our food and we've made it more presentable, and that's what we've done. We've opened in Angola recently. We're doing exceptionally well in Zimbabwe. Zambia is flying. We're opening a 2nd store there very shortly. Botswana, we're opening a 2nd store in a couple of months. Namibia we have, and I think we have a picture. That's our Swakopmund store. Beautiful, beautiful shop that we have there. That's Botswana. So that's Angola, which, as you can see sometimes, and I'll show you a little bit more like that, we have to improvise when we are in Africa because, you know, the shopping centers aren't always there, and it's not the sort of, you know, it's not so easy as to have a ready-made shopping center that you can just build your store. But our principles are that what we want to do is in every country, And remember, a lot of our produce is coming out of South Africa that we're taking up, as Mike said, by truck, and we're flying, and we are flying in strawberries, we fly cherries to Zimbabwe. We do all of those sort of things. That comes from South Africa, and of course the financial side of our business comes from Mauritius, and it's run from here, and these wonderful people assist us and do wonderful things for us. And we had a meeting this afternoon, and thank you very much for the guys who were there. It was absolutely great. But our whole principle is that we want to use local ownership in these countries. So if we are in Ghana, we've got a Ghanaian owner. If we were in Zimbabwe, there'll be a Zimbabwean owner. That's how we want to do this business. It's got to be local ownership. We supply and plug in some South African expertise into it. So we always give the training, we supply the principles from South Africa, what drives our business, what makes it great, but we use local people. When we employ staff, we employ local. And we will get people to come in and train, but our stores will be staffed by Mauritians or by Ghanaians in Ghana or by Zambians in Zambia. That is what we want to do. That is how we run our business. Our other thing that is very important to us is that we want to grow local agriculture. So it's important in Uganda, for instance, we've got a project going now where we will take South African farmers to assist with the whole thing, but to train local farmers, so that they in turn can start their own farming and do their own thing and become successful in their countries. And just one example, when we opened our Lusaka store in Zambia, there was a lady who's a farmer, she farms butternut, not farm, and she came with a little truck. And she said to me, you know, you guys are all the same. Pick n Pay came, they said they'll buy all my stuff, they never did. ShopRite came, they said they'll buy everything, they never did. I said, wait, watch us, because this is different. 50% of our business is fresh fruit and vegetables, so it's different. I saw her 2 weeks ago in Zambia again, and I said to her, how is it going? Has it worked out as I told you it would? And she said, you know what? I've had to buy a second little farm, and it's all coming to you. Now, those are the things we want to do. That's what our brand is all about in Africa. But also, it's, as Mike says, it's about bringing you the best possible prices and the best quality and the best service, the best looking stores. Existing stores, you can see the red countries where we are there. That's where we're Namibia, Angola, Zambia, we've got Zimbabwe, we've got Botswana. Then all the blue countries are where we've identified sites. Ghana we want to use as a stepping stone into West Africa. So we've got 5 sites identified in Ghana, but we've also got in the Ivory Coast, Gabon and Cameroon. But we'll first do Ghana, and then we'll use the DC from there to export. So we're going to create lots of employment in Ghana. Then Tanzania, we've got sites, Kenya, Uganda. Uganda, I told you, we're also working on the farming project. We are working with a man called Andrew Rugasira in Uganda, and he owns, and he's just written a book on his company, the Good African Coffee Company. And he's the first person to have taken small farmers in Uganda, coffee farmers, and buys their crops, and then they refine the coffee and they do the whole thing and they export. And he's now in Waitrose and in Tesco's and a number of others. So he's already got that farming thing going, and so it fits very nicely with our profile. I was saying to the guys earlier, currently we're working on about 43 new sites. Now obviously those are not all going to come together overnight, because we've got challenges and we've got to put together partnerships and all of those sort of things, but certainly there is a lot in the pipeline. Just a couple of stats there you can look through. Botswana, we're working in Nigeria, of course a very big one, 166 million people, you know, that's a retailer's dream at the end of the day. DRC, as you know, Kinshasa has been identified as going to be one of the big metro cities in Africa, part of the 3, Lagos and Kinshasa and Egypt. Then there's South Africa, where we do exceptionally well, as you know. Tanzania we're going into, Ghana's great, and as I say, we're going to use that as a hub for West Africa. It's a really big success story. Now, sometimes, as I said to you, in Africa, we really have to improvise because we can't find the sites. This is a nightclub. And we're going to turn this nightclub into a food lovers market. It's in Accra. It's in Accra. So you've got a nightclub on the top floor and a restaurant at the bar at the bottom floor, and we're taking it over and we're going to put a beautiful food lovers market in and a market cafe at the top. But sometimes we have to think out of the box. That's how we move forward. So there's our Accra store. At Mozambique, we're opening 4 stores shortly. Zim, we've got the 3 stores, and we're working on 5 new sites, Mauritius, you know about, and that is thank you from me.
A lot of those figures that the growth in those countries is between 6 and 10%, where South Africa we're struggling at the 2s and 3s. That's why the money's going, because there's growth in those countries. Richard, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Guys, thank you very much for this brilliant presentation. I'd like to now invite Excellency, High Commissioner of South Africa, to address us. Please, Excellency.
I don't know what I'm going to say now because everything has been said, and I think the gentlemen have done a wonderful job. But Honourable Your Excellency, Vice Prime Minister Mr. Xavier Duval, and also carrying your other ministerial portfolio in terms of being the Minister of Economic and Development, Mr. Kopin, Mr. Cole, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I hope there are more ladies here, but I've seen some come up to me. It is for me a great pleasure and I think an honor to address you today, but I think what the two gentlemen have said, and our farmer here have done the job for me, but I guess now I'll have to put on my political hat. As you know, South Africa enjoys very cordial bilateral relations between ourselves and Mauritius, and also it's going from strength to strength, and it is through such businesses that it is doing so. And as one colleague had said, and we're just talking about it, that I think for us we're happy to be paid to live in Mauritius, whereas others have to fly in to come and enjoy your beautiful paradisic hospitality, as called in Mauritius. But the long and short of it is that it's about business, and this is what we're about today, and I'm glad the room is filling up. I'm sure there were many reasons why, and we've already said them, why you chose to come here. It's got a proximity and accessibility to South Africa. It's about 3 hours at the most when the wind is blowing fast. They used to say to us it's 4 hours, but I've seen it's even shorter now. Then it's also got this sophisticated physical and institutional infrastructure, and it is organized as well as you have your organized, skilled society, both in business and in the economic field. So I've just heard the young lady telling me what she has done, and I'm like mind-boggled, actuarial accountants, which is very impressive indeed. And then it's also got, an attraction, and it's a destination of choice for, tourists. So what a better place to not to be, So Mauritius is also strategically positioned. It is in the Indian Ocean, making it a gateway not only to Africa, but to Asia, Australia, and of course I know the buzzword that BOI uses, and I think it ought to now change it and say yes, they have a gateway not only to Africa, but also to all these areas that I've just mentioned. So certainly BOI has done a great job in positioning Mauritius as it is now, a country of choice to come and invest. Hence, Mauritius also offers so many trade opportunities, as the three gentlemen have outlined. I mean, farming, who would have even thought about milking cows and then how to go into research and ensuring that the grass is right. I didn't even know that you had to have the right type of grass for your cows. So thanks for that information, and you learn every day. We've seen a lot of South African investors, and I think South Africa is one of the largest, sources for our investors. But also, we can safely say that it stands around about 3 billion rupees annually, and then currently we have 91 South African investors who have remained on the island. It is regrettable, I think now it's good that we have our honorable minister here, that I'm told 2 years ago we had like 190 investors here in Mauritius, but for some reason, they're just thrown away. So in turn, South Africa's large resource of highly skilled labour, as we have just heard, that, it's not just a one-way traffic. There's also two-way, just as much as, Mauritians are highly skilled and educated, but also we are also getting the experts, as now we have a cow expert here, so we know where to come and get that information. I hope Ivan noted that, because we know we've met a couple of investors who've been very distressed, especially in the cow area, and it was so regrettable that this gentleman has lost so many of his cows, but now we know where to send him. So, as I've said, currently, in terms of South Africans who are here living in Mauritius on contract basis, we have like 390, and that too has also regrettably also gone down, but I think now with Food Lovers in space, we're already chugging in and coming to settle and ensure that our population grows on. Unfortunately, the number of professionals, I've said, has also decreased. It used to be 870, and like now we're sitting at 390. And besides that, we also have students. Before we used to have students, a lot of South African students going to, Mauritians going to South Africa to study. I think in a year, yearly it was 1,500. This year it has gone up by twice. But now it's seen the reverse. We're seeing South Africans coming to study in Mauritius, and I'm quite excited about it. I know Honorable Minister was like, oh, South Africans coming to study here? Yes, they're studying medicine here. So we are going to also depopulate your population with South African products in Mauritius. Now, we would have had almost 1,000 strong South African community living here, but again, that has diminished, and most of them, as we will hear, they live in Black River, Palm Bay, but people thought, a lot of South Africans have populated the Mauritius, but we're all on those four corners of Mauritius. So definitely we are looking forward to more Food Lovers, and we know that there will be many more to come. So definitely we are excited about this development. And now, as a High Commission, we have been working very closely with both the Board of Investors, as well as also with the, now I can safely say, the South African Chamber of Commerce. We have now fully established a new Chamber of Commerce, so please join them to go over the hurdles. We've had a little bit of hiccups here and there, but certainly now we have a structured institution that is established here on the island, and it will be also growing from strength to strength with all the support we need. Honorable Minister Duval, we also work with you greatly, and we're hoping that we'll iron out all those hiccups that we're encountering at the moment. But I think safely to say that if you've structured your business properly, there's nothing to fear. So it's those ones who don't seem to be, because apparently now this afternoon my Honorable First Secretary just told me that it has been rectified. That's our side. So certainly, there's room for improvement, and definitely we will iron out those things. We're also happy to see trade and investment coming also on our way to South Africa. I know from your budget speech, Honorable Minister, I think it's about 39% of Mauritian companies that have gone into South Africa. Not only just South Africa, but to the rest of the continent. And I think for us, this is the excitement. And I mean, you just spoken the things that we've been discussing together in our office, and this is the way we should be. A lot of fixed direct investment is attracted into Mauritius because of their strategic positioning, and especially because also Mauritius has come from a monocrop and diversified into the textile, but now you no longer think so much about the textile, but now you're more into the services sector. So certainly that is for us very exciting, because then we see synergies. So certainly I don't think, and I'm glad and I hope you will sing this, and I wish our ministers and all the officials in South Africa would listen to you to say that as much as Mauritius is positioning themselves, they are not a challenge. rather there are synergies, and as you have just demonstrated, that you getting some of the investment and you're plowing it back onto the continent. And I think this way that Mauritius is moving in terms of plowing back into the continent, and also because for us, this is the way to go. And I mean, you showed us the figures that look very attractive indeed. So certainly I wish you all the best. And we're looking for more food lovers on the island, as many as you can have. Even if it's like a fresh up where we can just go in. And I was just a bit worried that you didn't say that what differentiated yourself was this thing of, you know, because as much as I'm a female, you know, High Commissioner in Mauritius, when I go home, I gotta go and cook. So it's a lovely way of just getting into the food lovers place and picking up what I want. And you know, as I say, the best way to the man's heart is through his stomach. Thank you.
Excellency, thank you very much for your address. I'd like to invite Honorary Xavier Duval to address us.
Thank you, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. A few words. Excellency, thank you for your speech just now. Thank you to the guys from Food Lovers Market. I'm a client also, so thank you for being in Mauritius. I think I'd just like to say that South Africans, I don't want anyone to get the wrong impression. I think South Africans are very welcome to come to Mauritius. We appreciate to have such an advanced country as our neighbor, and we welcome you. I've been myself twice to Cape Town this year, and on both occasions it was an investment promotion mission, and we've seen a lot of interest coming from South African companies, coming from South African individuals who want to come here in the ILRS, in the RES, to come and live and work, and we welcome them. It is true that I can't say whether your figures are absolutely accurate, I presume they are, but obviously you'll see that after a number of years, people have to account to say whether or not they have met the conditions for investment. And it may be that if you come in and say you will invest and you don't actually make the turnover, you know as well as I do, then maybe the investment certificate is then cancelled. But that applies to South Africans as it would apply to any other, I wanted to make that point, to any other nationality. And as I mentioned, we saw a lot of interest in Cape Town. And in fact, I did tell my friends from the Board of Investment who were here that we should visit regularly South Africa to make sure that we continue on this good path, and we continue to attract South Africans to Mauritius. I wanted to say that. I wanted also to say that I appreciated I liked what Richard said about actually using Mauritius as a base from which to do business in Africa, not through which to do business in Africa. This is obviously the future. We all know that substance is the future. Whatever happens today with G8 or whatever, next year, whatever, at the end of the day, in a few years' time, we all have to show substance as a basis for tax residents, etc. We are working in Mauritius on improving the substance that is provided here, whether we do it formally for the licensing requirements, for the tax resident certificate, for instance, and obviously we have to couple that with attracting in Mauritius appropriate service providers that will provide as much of the services that are required by investors on the continent, in Asia, etc. This is obviously the future, and we are working with the South African authorities in order to, I think you said hiccups is the right word really, with the double taxation agreement, which was negotiated before I joined, I must say. Negotiated before I joined. But there are a few hiccups. We don't like the uncertainty that is in the agreement. It has come out that has had a bad effect on the perception that you don't know where you are, whether you're a tax resident here, whether you're a tax resident there, if you're a company. And we had a chat about that, we're going to look at that, and we haven't ratified the convention yet. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorary Minister. This is a forum, right? ABAX Forum is a forum. So I invite anybody who would like to make any comment, would like to ask any question, any remarks, please. There are roving mics, yeah? Any questions, any remarks, anybody please? No, everybody is very shy.